Hi everybody, Old Guy here, and the book today is Vonda McIntyre's The Exile Waiting. That's it. An underground city ruled by a decadent elite, the mass of people, paupers and thieves, and basically a condition of serfdom. And among them are the mutants, people with special powers that the populace shuns and the elites imprison, on an Earth blasted by ecological disaster. Must be a 70s sci-fi story, right? Right. I mean, I love 70s sci-fi. It's over-the-top, apocalyptic, enviro-disaster, craphead humans needing the benevolent guidance of Marxist aliens to bring us to a better way. Back then it was global cooling and a worldwide nuclear war that was going to bring about our much-deserved demise. But since that didn't happen, it's now global warming and a really bad cold that'll do it. A whimper as opposed to a bang, I guess. This was Vonda McIntyre's first novel, the one in which she created the world of Center and Sphere, which is the setting for her later novel, Dream Snake, which won both the Hugo and Nebula in 1978. She is one of the women sci-fi writers who give evidence against the so-called boys club white patriarchy sci-fi community of the time, along with Ursula K. Le Guin, Madeleine L'Engle, James Tiptree, yes, James, Octavia Butler, and a bunch of others. And let's be a little straight up here. It isn't that sci-fi was all white male exclusionary oppressive stuff. It's that sci-fi was considered trashy. Kids stuff, unserious. Pretty much through the 80s, that was the view. I mean, what self-respecting woman wants to be identified with that? C.L. Moore, who was writing sci-fi in the 1930s, hid her name because she didn't want her job to find out that she was writing this stuff. So what's this book about? Well, on an Earth ravaged by winter-long sandstorms caused by a nuclear war hundreds of years before, Center is a city stretching across several caverns beneath the surface, surviving off-trade with distant tribes that visit during the quiet summer months, and with off-world human communities that occasionally drop by. Center is run by the Families, a generations-long inbred group of degenerate pseudo-kings and queens who hold absolute power and have enslaved the rest of the population. Misha and her brother Chris are thieves, trained by their uncle and enthralled to him to provide a certain amount of stolen goods every week, or he'll sell their mentally crippled sister Jemmy to the beggars, who will mutilate her to make her a more pathetic figure. Misha is very good at her job, primarily because she is a mutant with telepathic abilities, giving her quite the edge when breaking into places. It also keeps her in danger. If the Families find out about her abilities, she'll be burned at the stake or banished to the endless black tunnels underneath the city where other mutants have formed clans. Now, into this medieval society comes two of the most fascinating characters in all of science fiction. Sub 1 and Sub 2, experimental twin brothers who are the coldest, ruthless, most endearing space pirates that you will come across. I actually started rooting for them. They land on Earth in the middle of a winter sandstorm, which is completely unheard of, and walk in and take over center, putting the families under their rule. And then Sub 1 finds Misha, who is a polymath as well as a telepath, and takes an interest in her education. And at this point, it looked like we had a fairly good progression going. Misha, the much abused and hopeless teenage girl, one can now glimpse a future for her and Chris and maybe Jimmy. But then, seemingly out of nowhere, there is an incident between Chris and Sub 2 that turns them into enemies and puts Misha on the run through the underground tunnels. And it feels so much like a plot device that I wondered, what the heck is this? I'm all for plot twists that change a novel's direction, but this seemed unnecessary. I'm not sure why McIntyre did it, because everything ends up in the same place I thought it was going anyway. Oh well. So, this I can say is an alright read, nothing to write home about, but a pretty good sampling of what 70s sci-fi is all about, especially if you're tired of Clark and Asimov. But don't expect something a whole lot different than what they wrote. After all, tropes is tropes. And now for your education, I will recite some 70s era slang. What it is, my man, why don't you do me a solid and leave your pad, come on over to my crib, and we can chill. See, I had to book it because them guys were bogarting and I started tripping. Can you dig it? So I have to catch you on the flip side. Peace out, man. Old guy here. Later, dude.